We're currently standing outside M&T Bank Arena, and coming up on Sports Paws tonight, we will have to talk about the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey teams that kick off their season opener against Boston College.
And the women's volleyball team took on Fairfield, and we'll see how they did.
Yeah, and field hockey had a nail-biting finish against the Yukon Huskies. See who comes out on top.
All this and more on Sports Paws.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. I hope you had a wonderful Bobcat weekend.
I know I definitely did, and especially with all the fun games that happened this entire weekend.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but we'll jump right into it. On the ice, the defending national champion Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team dropped the puck on the 23-24 season against Boston College. Let's roll the tape. Yeah, as we said, a top 10 showdown in Hamden. As you see right there, the raising of the 23 national title game banner, and Metza holding the trophy like it's his own baby. And we'll jump right into the first period of action. The Bobcats are on the power play when Mason Marcellus passes it to the wrong jersey, and Andre Gusteau takes it the other way and hits the lamp on the shorty, passing Vinny Duplessis. And just like that, you see there's some BC fans in the crowd, but majority of the 3,700 fans in attendance are off to a slow start. And just like that, we'll jump into the second period now. Eagles on the attack again. And this time it is San Jose Sharks prospect Will Smith, but Vinny Duplessis slams the door shut. Still 1-0 into third. Late into third. Now Quinnipiac down by 1. Mason Marcellus puts the frozen biscuit in the basket to tie the game. The first year getting the Bobcats on the board first on the season. Going to overtime now. OT hockey in the final seconds. Cutter Gauthier is found all alone. He snipes it home for the win. Boston College upsets Quinnipiac at home 2-1 overtime. After the loss, men's ice hockey beat reporter Andrew Reynolds talked about the hurdles the Bobcats faced.
Tonight, the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team rose their 2023 national championship banner to begin their defending title run. Now, the Bobcats did not look like the defending national champions tonight as they fell to the Boston College Eagles with a final score of 2-1.
I thought it was a great game. Credit to Boston College. I thought they were really well prepared. Obviously, they got some high-end players.
They gave us exactly what we expected. There's no free ice when you play against Quinnipiac. And they make you earn every inch. I thought early on it was a big adjustment for a lot of our young guys, but I liked the way they got better as the game went along.
A lot of the adjustments came on the Bobcat side as they lost Sam Lipkin and Colin Graff within the first 10 minutes of the game.
In terms of us, we lose Graff and Lipkin 5 minutes, 7 minutes in the game, and two of our best players. There's our power play. There's a lot of things that happened. I love how we battled back and found a way to get back in the game.
And the Bobcats did get right back into this game, scoring a late goal to tie it up at 1, but that was spoiled as the 5th overall pick of the draft. He ended that one for the Eagles in overtime.
In the end, Cutter Gauthier showed why he, went 5th overall in the draft.
Next, the Bobcats look ahead to an exhibition game against the Northeastern Huskies in Boston on Sunday night. For Q30 Sports, I'm Andrew Reynolds.
Thank you, Andrew. After the game, Quinnipiac made the trip up to Boston to take on Northeastern in an exhibition game. Let's see how they did. The Bobcats took on their second straight top 20 opponent in as many days, and it was a dogfight from start to finish. The Kristoff connection scored the first goal of the game as Tellier found Filion, who was able to light the lamp early. Almost 8 minutes later, Peta Walton responded for the Huskies to tie the game on the power play. Northeastern's Justin Henricoian gave the Huskies their first lead of the game before Davis Pennington scored his first goal in the Bobcat Gold and Blue. Ultimately, the Bobcats would fall in a shootout, unable to score in sudden death. Though the team didn't win over the weekend, one Bobcat was recognized by the conference. Mason Marcellus was named the ECAC Rookie of the Week after scoring the game-tying goal against Boston College. Marcellus led the USCHL Lincoln Stars in points a year ago with 68 and 58 games played. The Stars lost in the Western Conference Finals of the Clark Cup playoffs last season. Marcellus finished the weekend with 6 shots on goal in 2 games and 1 penalty against Northeastern. Now that we have you all caught up on men's ice hockey, Let's see where the Bobcats land on this week's USCHO poll. The Bobcats dropped 3 spots after losing in overtime to Boston College 2-1. Boston University is still the number 1 team in the nation after escaping Bentley in overtime. Moving into the second rank is Minnesota after not playing anyone this past week. Denver moves up to number 3 after a sweep of Alaska. Boston College moved up 2 spots after taking down Quinnipiac to number 4 in the rankings. And Michigan, North Dakota, and Michigan State round out the top 8 spots of the USCHO poll.
On the women's side, the team went up against the UNH Wildcats this past weekend. Let's see how they did. The Bobcats won 3-2 on Friday by an overtime winner from Nina Steigoff. The Bobcats held on after a late rally from the Wildcats in the 3rd period, never letting New Hampshire have the lead throughout the game. Both Madison Chandler and Sadie Pierrick got the 2 points for the Bobcats in the 2nd period. While Maya Labatt had 2 assists in the game, the Bobcats stayed on the defense until overtime for the win. The team is back on it at Saturday for their 2nd game against the Wildcats. Let's take a look at how they did. The Bobcats won 4-1, going ahead good for Nina Steigoff goal in the 3rd period. Once again, the UNH Wildcats never took the lead. Quinnipiac's Maya Labatt and Sadie Pierre both scored in the 1st period, and Jessie Scherver scored the 2nd period. And the net goalie Logan Angers only gave up 3 goals the entire weekend. The Bobcats look to keep the winning streak going this weekend with a home and away series against Providence. After the weekend sweep, let's take a look at where the Bobcats stand in the national rankings. There is no movement in the top 10 for the women's poll this week. Quinnipiac remains at the number 8, while Wisconsin Badgers remain firmly on the top spot, receiving all 20 first-place votes. Looking lower in the rankings, however, ECAC St. Louis jumped from unranked all the way up to the 11th spot after sweeping Providence over the weekend, knocking them out of the top 15. Other familiar ECAC opponents Colgate and Yale stay firmly in the top 5 this week. Following the weekend of hockey, let's see what hockey beat reporters Andrew Reynolds and Anthony Rossi are thinking the top dogs are in the NCAA.
Thanks, Gage and Katie. Welcome to the First Line. I'm women's ice hockey beat reporter Anthony Rossi, alongside Andrew Reynolds, men's ice hockey beat reporter. And we're going to review the top 5 teams in the NCAA and our opinions. So first, let's take a look at my list. First, honorable mention, Yale, Northeastern. They're not on my list, but they're solid. Quinnipiac at number 5. 2 solid sweeps between Maine and UNH. Deserves number 5. Number 4, I have Minnesota. Lucy Morgan transferred from St. Lawrence University. She's 2-0 so far in net for Minnesota, and they've been really solid, and they've impressed a lot. And at number 3, this is where it gets a little dicey. Colgate at number 3. I know you want them up more, but I love Colgate at 3 right now. Sitting right here with Daniel Serdachny and Hannah Murphy and Kaylee Osborne in the back. That goalie tandem is too good, and I think that they can absolutely make it to 2 or 1 eventually. At number 2, I have Ohio State, though. I feel like they won that series personally between Colgate. They're 1-1. They split the series with Colgate, and it was a tough series. And at number 1, I don't think there's any disagreements here. It's Wisconsin, national champions, defending national champions. And Wisconsin has just been 4-0 so far. They've been dominant. Any disagreements with this?
The only thing I disagree with, honestly, top 5 list is really solid. I disagree with these two should be swapped. Colgate dominated that series, in my opinion, against Ohio State. Colgate they had them 2-0 in that first game, and then Ohio State came back, rallied back late. They won in overtime. Or not, they didn't win in overtime. They won in a late goal. And then Ohio State, they won it in overtime. But Colgate really came back in that game. They were down 2-0, came back, and then they ended up losing in overtime to Ohio State. But I think your list is solid. And again, Wisconsin, great pick.
Yes.
Anyways, moving over to my list. We have at number 5, the Denver Pioneers. I will start off with honorable mention, though, Providence. I think the Providence Friars, they proved themselves. They proved themselves this week. They beat Michigan. Michigan, honestly, could have been number 5. They didn't lose to Providence, but wanted to mention that. Denver's a solid team as well. They lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year, the regionals, to Cornell. Cornell played in Boston University. But anyways, number 4, we have Minnesota Golden Gophers. They're lower on this list. They were the runner-ups in the national championship. They lost Matthew Nyes as well as Logan Cooley to the NHL. So they are still a good team, but they lost a lot of their talent from last year. At number 3, we have Boston University. Boston University, they went to overtime against one of the worst teams in the NCAA this year, Bentley. And they won in overtime to them. And then at number 2, Quinnipiac. They lost their 2 best players in the first 7 minutes of the game this past weekend against the Boston College Eagles, who are at number 1. But Boston College is such a great team. They have a lot of great NHL draft picks. 5th overall, scored the OT winner against Quinnipiac. But again, I think Quinnipiac and Boston College are 2 teams to really watch out for once we get into March and April once you get into the tournament.
And then Boston College at number 1, such a good pick. Quinnipiac, not the defining moment so far. But that's all the time that we have on the first line. Let's send it back to the desk at Gage and Katie.
Thanks, guys. Now moving to Fairfield, the volleyball team tried to keep their MAC undefeated streak alive as they took on the Stags in Mahoney Arena. As it's a rematch, a 22 MAC title game, and you see Ariana Diaz is not wearing the libero jersey for the first time in a few weeks. We'll see if that starts them with their offense going to the first set. Bobcats down 2 early, and so Lexi Morse slams it down with authority, using her height to her advantage. A few plays later, Svenya Rodenbush joins in with a smart kill on the right side, catching the Bobcats D by surprise. Fairfield takes the first set. Going to set number 2. Michaela Haught challenges Vivai Kimsel-Moy, but Kimsel-Moy was not able to recover. Then, Ariana Diaz spikes one down the back corner, getting closer to the 1,000 kill club. And you may just want to call a third set the Ginevra Giovagnoni set. Starting off with a cute little feint. Right finds the inside part, no man's land. Nothing too big about that. But a few plays later, Giovagnoni fires one that is so powerful that it ricochets off of the blocker and the pin for the kill. But the play of the game, it has to be the stick. Not with a hand, but with a foot. Magical play to keep it alive. Fairfield gets a point. Quinnipiac gets the set. Going to set number 4. Early in the fourth, Haught again with another powerful swing and almost knocks out the line judge. And after the final nail in the coffin, Fairfield takes it 3-1. Ginevra finishes with 21 kills on the game. After volleyball's loss to Fairfield, let's see how this shakes up the MAC standings. After the loss, Marist takes the first place position with a 7-1 conference record. And second is Fairfield with a 6-1 record. Third is Quinnipiac. They have the same record, though they got the third with the same way tie breaker. Niagara is sitting in 4th place with a 5-3 record. Iona is in 4th with a 4-4. And finishing up the tournament field right now is Ryder, also with a 4-4 conference record. We are going to step aside and take our first break of the night.
But don't go anywhere. Coming up, the field hockey teams took on Nina Klein's alma mater UConn in a thriller.
And women's soccer, they're going to be coming up in just a moment, looking to end their 5-year losing streak to the Iona Gales.
All this and more as Sports Paws. Will be right back.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back. The Quinnipiac field hockey team looked to break a 17-game winning streak against the UConn Huskies on Friday. Let's see how they did. As we mentioned before, UConn and Quinnipiac in a massive Big East Conference game. Quinnipiac has former UConn goalkeeper Nina Klein as their head coach. Will this make the difference? Let's find out. Jumping into the first quarter, it's Stella Titmeyer with the early goal for the Bobcats. Up early, 1-0 over the Huskies. But the Huskies are not rattled, as it'll be Juliana Kratz who clubs this ball to the back of the goal to tie this game up early. Tied at 1. But we're not done yet in the first quarter. Stella Titmeyer with a ricochet gets it in. And it's 2-1 Quinnipiac. Not much happening, so we'll go into the third quarter of action. And it'll be UConn getting a great look of not having success in their first 3 penalty corner chances. And it'll be Belle Bressler puts it in. And now it's time for the Christina Torres show for a moment. A couple of massive saves she's had in this game to really keep the Bobcats in it, really showing off her great defensive skills in this one. This 1-on-1 breakaway with a big leg save there, really showing off her great performances on this game. Going to the fourth quarter, it is still tied. UConn with a chance to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. Will they do it? No! Quinnipiac denies them of that chance. We go to overtime, and that will do it. UConn takes it off with a goal by Sol Simone, and UConn wins 3-2 in overtime, escapes the Bobcats. And what a great game that was, all around. Defense, offense on high alert. After the overtime loss, field hockey beat reporter Keith Savage went in depth on the relationship between UConn and Quinnipiac.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats and UConn Huskies face off against each other here in Hamden on Friday, and this matchup has some storylines behind it.
It's nice to have her in my back pocket. She was one of the winningest coaches in field hockey when she was the head coach at UConn, so it's always fun to coach against her, and it was obviously, fun to be a Husky back in the day.
That coach being referenced is Nancy Stevens, who coached Klein in 3 national championships, including an unbeaten season in her senior year. Stevens was impressed by her former player performance today.
Nina does a great job of managing the game, instructing her players during the game, and being hugely positive. And positive coaching is the way forward. And so I think she does a great job with that.
It's always a fun little battle. I would say, this is definitely, a UConn team that we felt poised and ready to take on the challenge. But definitely a lot of respect to Paul and Nancy and Chrissy and the entire staff.
The Huskies won the game 3-2 in overtime, but Stevens was still impressed with the Bobcats' performance.
I told Nina after the game that I felt it's the best Quinnipiac team that I've seen. The talent, the intensity. It was just a terrific game.
We'll have to wait and see when the day comes when the Quinnipiac Bobcats get their first win against the UConn Huskies. Report from Q30 Sports, I'm Keith Savage.
The Bobcats look to find their footing against the Maine Black Bears on Sunday. Roll the highlight. The Bobcats are looking to end their 2-game losing streak against the Maine Black Bears. And Quinnipiac also lost their last 3 games in Hamden. We're going to kick it off in the first quarter with sophomore forward Cameron Brower found graduate student Sophia Pompeo to sneak the ball behind the Black Bears goalkeeper to give Quinnipiac the early lead. And it gives Providence transfer 3rd goal of the season. It was a great shot by her. And we're going to go on to the next quarter. And once again, Brower hits the ball into the scoring circle, and Sophia Pompeo receives the ball and scores her 2nd goal of the game. And now on to the second half. Sophomore goalkeeper Christina Torres made sure that the lead would not be taken. And she has 11 saves and had 12 in the 3-2 loss against UConn on Friday against Maine. Quinnipiac splits their home series 1-1 as the Bobcats defeat the Black Bears 2-0. I'd say it's a pretty good game for them, considering it was 2-0 and they went
Very
over.
Solid, great shutout by
I feel
Torres.
really confident with this team. We feel like we can achieve great things, and this is Liberty. We're gonna work hard to get the W and just work hard together, and we're gonna get it.
After a weekend of games, let's see where the Bobcats are standing in the Big East. The Bobcats currently sit in the number 4 seat in the conference with a record of 2-2 in the Big East play and a 5-6 overall record. They sit behind Old Dominion, Villanova, and Liberty University. The Bobcats look to rise in the standings with 6 games left in the regular season as they take on the Liberty University Eagles in the Big East Conference game this Friday. The women's soccer team took on Fairfield Stags on Wednesday afternoon. Let's see how they did. The Bobcats against the Stags, they're the last 2 undefeated teams in this conference, which is crazy, and one of them will have to unfortunately take the loss. And we're going to kick it off in the first half with a deep clear by Sofia Lospinoso. which is a beautiful clear. And Fairfield's trying to get possession, but Emily Vandervleet pounces and loses the ball, and Quinnipiac is quick to recover it. And Vandervleet sends a gorgeous pass to Courtney Chokol, who finds the net for goal number 5. The transition offense for the Bobcats as they'll take it to a 1-0 lead in the first half. Now in the second half, the scorers Fairfield get a free kick here in the early half, and the ball is sent into the box, and the Bobcats do clear it, but Stags stay in control with Reagan Klarman makes a beautiful baseline pass to Allie Kirby, who nets the shot to tie the game at 1-1. And it was a beautiful shot from Kirby there. And it was the first MAC goal for the Bobcats that they allowed all season long. And they struggled to convert opportunities, but in the 58th, they get the chance. Ella Gagno in an open stance finds Chokol in the box. It was not a pretty goal, but it gets the Bobcats up 2-1. And less than a minute later, the Bobcats cash it in again with this beautiful shot as Gagno attacks Fairfield and tries to get it in and goes right to Markela Bailey. She shoots and it goes off the goalie into that net. It was an unlucky break for the Stags, but the Q takes a good advantage. The final would be 3-1. They stay undefeated in the MAC conference. And now with Chokol with 6 goals in the season, they try their best to keep the conference going. After knocking off Fairfield, Bobcats had a quick turnaround this Saturday against Lolo Iona Gales. Run the tape. So Quinnipiac has not won a game against Iona since 2018, so it's a big game, and let's see if they win. In the first half, we go to the first 8th minute, and they cross fields to find Lily Schneiders, and she scores a goal. And then afterwards, we have another goal from the Bobcats. It clears, but Iona finds an opening, and a shot from Mila Rodriguez, and it's saved by Sofia Lospinoso, and that was a great save by her. But now Quinnipiac has an opportunity for Courtney Chokol and Maddie Olives. She'll shoot, and it gets swatted away by Iona's goalie. Another look here. That is a good save.
Really good in the gritty, muddy conditions out there right now.
Exactly. All right, now in the second half, Rogers makes another phenomenal save against the Bobcats, and Olives has a great ball with some physicality, but Gales clear it. The Bobcats finally cash in one in the 77th. With Chokol with great cross in the box, Emily Van lays off deflection with a gorgeous shot and a massive insurance goal for the Bobcats. The Bobcats stay undefeated in the MAC play, and they close the one out and secure a 2-0 win with Schneiders and Van der Vlee's goals. After the game, the pair had this to say.
Honestly, we're taking it one game at a time, and that's how we should do it. But we've got the talent to go 10-0, honestly, and win the league. I think we shouldn't be happy with anything less.
No, I agree.
To be honest.
We should be 10-0. We have a good squad here. We can get goals. Anyone can score. We're all dangerous. So.
Well, the team sure does sound confident after such a big week. Let's check out the rest of the conference. Quinnipiac holds sole possession of the first place as the only team still undefeated in the conference. Canisius and Mount St. Mary's have jumped up to the 2nd and 3rd respectively after putting together strong weeks, while Fairfield slid all the way to 4th, losing twice. Ryder, Siena, and Manhattan round out the top 8 in that order. Iona is in dead last with a 1-12 and 1, the only team with no conference wins on the season. The Bobcats will look to stay undefeated when they take on Marist this Wednesday.
After another undefeated week in MAC play for the Bobcats, let's see who came home with some hardware. Senior striker Courtney Chokol was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week after scoring 2 goals against Fairfield and registering 1 assist against Iona. Chokol tied Fairfield's Maddie Theriot for the conference goal lead with 6. She also leads the MAC in both assists with 6 and points with 18. She is currently on an 8-game point streak and has scored a goal in 5 of her last 7 games. This is Chokol's 2nd weekly MAC award of the season and her 3rd total in her career. Switching to Eric DaCosta's squad, the MAC men's soccer team traveled to New Rochelle to take on the Iona Gales. Will they end their MAC tie streak? And the answer is yes, but not the way the Bobcats wanted, losing to the Gales 2-1. Iona's Kamil Azamriziz got the scoring started for the Gales to give them the early 1-0 lead at the 19th minute. 3 minutes later, Braugassen tied the game with an athletic play that bounced off the post and in. But 9 minutes into the second half, the Gales retook the lead after Azamriziz found Ali Kamira open for his 3rd goal of the season. The drop to go to 9th in the conference and still searching for their first win since September 9th.
Now that's a lot of sports we've just covered, Gage, but there's no way there is more, right?
Well, Katie, we actually do have more coming after this break.
That's right. Like Leah Peralta is still being dominant in the MAC.
Yes, and of course, coming up after that, she had a great performance in the MAC this past month and the top 5 plays of the week. You don't want to miss that.
No, I wouldn't.
See you guys back in 2 minutes.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to Sports Paws, everybody. Bobcat golfer took home some hardware from the MAC this week. Graduate student Lee Yang Peralta won the MAC Women's Golfer of the Month award for her impressive performance this September. Peralta came in first at the Red Bandana Invitational hosted by Boston College, shooting a 73+1 over the 2-day tournament. Peralta is no stranger to accolades. She took home the MAC Golfer of the Year award as a junior and received an all-conference honors last season.
Now that sounds impressive enough, but we got to go right to the cross-country teams. They competed in the New England Championships, and we'll get started here taking a look at this graphic that comes up to you right now. The men's team finished in 12th place, 0 out of 15, scoring 300 points. The Bobcats placed 2 runners in the top 50 with Andrew Woodbine's personal best in the 8K and Nolan Coos finishing 48th. Meanwhile, the women's team finished in 6th place out of 18 schools, including first-year Ashlyn Witt, who was one of the best finishers of the team that meet. And with that, top five plays. Here we go. It's on Sports Paws. How you feel?
So many great plays to choose from. Let's just jump right in it, Gage.
Sounds good to me. Let's hit it. Hit the play number 5, and we go to the volleyball court at Fairfield. Jennifer Giovagnoni runs up for the leg kick and dig. Now, we'll take another look at this in slow-mo. As you see, Giovagnoni slides underneath to keep play alive. Fairfield will get the point, but Quinnipiac takes the set.
And now play number 4, we're jumping over to women's soccer. Here comes Courtney Choco running down the field. Emily Vanderbilt in a 2-1. Choco kicks it in from the right side to give the Bobcats a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, great play. Going to number 3, it's field hockey time. Christina Torres faces a breakaway run from UConn. She slides forward and make an impressive save. That was big on Big East field hockey all around. Take another look as you see she lays a leg out. Nice job by Torres.
That is a beautiful save right there, Gage. Unbelievable. Now play number 2, we're traveling over to the ice. Quinnipiac is down 1-0 in the 3rd period. And it's first year Mason Marcellus who puts it in for his first collegiate goal, and it ties up the game. It's an amazing shot.
Yeah, and now it's time for play numero uno. And then we go to women's ice hockey in New Hampshire, Durham. Quinnipiac tied at 2 against the Wildcats in overtime. But who else will it be? Mila Batt finds Steigoff down the slot, and she nails it.
Wow.
3-2, Quinnipiac wins. Now
That is an amazing goal, but now that's all the time we have for here tonight.
To stay up to date with all things Quinnipiac sports, you can follow us on social media at Q30 Sports.
We want to say a big thank you to everyone working hard behind the scenes, and for Gage Kilburn, I'm Kate Vukovic saying thank you and have a wonderful night.